Welcome, one and all. I couldn't help but put some fireworks for today. It's a big day. This is our 300th Sunday gathering. And for those of you who have been with us from the beginning or joined us somewhere midway through, or this is your first Sunday gathering, or you're watching the replay, this Sunday gathering is for you. I'm Sandra Champlain. I'm joined by my wonderful longtime friend and medium, Tim Southwell, bringing you our 300th Sunday gathering today. It's also the last Sunday gathering before Christmas. So as you can see, I got a little decorated just because, I'm a little kid at heart. These Sunday gatherings were created, yes, 300 Sundays ago. We thought for a short term when old COVID hit the world, but it quickly became an international sensation. We normally have somewhere around 150 Sunday gatherers with us each and every Sunday. And we are here not only to add a little wisdom and joy and comfort and empowerment, but also with the reality that life goes on after death. So it's a different kind of service. Maybe all religions welcome, or if you're a spiritual, not religious, welcome. It is really here, just soul to soul, to do anything that we can to join as a global community, put a little smile on your face, a little comfort in your heart, a little joy. And so I couldn't be more happy than to be here with you and especially with Tim. I'll talk a little bit more about the Sunday gathering during the address, but for now, I'm going to tell you our dear friend Tim is going to do our opening and closing prayers today. He'll be the first to lead us off in the address, and he will be doing the demonstration of mediumship. I will be doing the reading today, leading you into the healing, sharing the address, some words for the week, and announcements, and playing your hostess with the mostest. So, whatever brought you here today, you're part of the family now. We welcome you. And happy 300th. Tim, over to you.
Thanks, Sandra, and congratulations on, first of all, on 300 Sundays. A month of Sundays. It's more than a month. It's 5 years of Sundays and going on six of Sundays. So congratulations for that. And it's been a privilege to be a very tiny part of that at times, but fantastic still. Hard to imagine something like that. And it's great to be back as well. And I love Christmas. I know, Sandra, you love Christmas as well, and there's a lot of people who love Christmas. So it's extra special to be here for this Sunday as well. So thank you for inviting me again. So to begin the service, let us begin with prayer. And if you're comfortable, close your eyes. And we give thanks that we can all be here together, that we can take time out of our schedule. And Great Spirit, we are so thrilled that we will be here to witness our camaraderie, that there's life after death, and in fact, that there is really no death. We're gathering here with many histories, many backgrounds, many faiths, and many beliefs. And as we are continuing our journey and our experience, we're adding to it bit by bit and learning just a little bit more of ourselves and the world around us. And it's that great understanding that we strive for. And we give thanks that we live in a culture, in an environment, and in fact, a world that allows us to explore and to grow and to progress and to gather more and more understanding with guidance from help in the spirit world, friends, and our support all around. We give thanks for this special day. Amen.
Thank you so much, Tim, for our reading. Today is our 300th celebration. Christmas is coming up this week, and we have many reasons to be joyful. We know, however, that for many, this is a very tender time of year, and it can bring some grief and a little sadness. Last night, I was inspired to write the following story. I don't know where it came from, but it was fully created, and I just had to write it down. Okay, now this is for those of you who are willing to look at Christmas through a new set of brave eyes. This is the story of Sylvia. And this was Sylvia's very first Christmas alone. After 50 years of marriage to her high school sweetheart, her beloved Fred had passed away just 4 months ago. Her grown children were busy with their families and couldn't make the journey this year. And to be honest, Sylvia hadn't been planning on being at home at all. as she and Fred were supposed to be on a cruise celebrating their anniversary. But life, as it often does, had made other plans. Fred had insisted that after he passed, that Sylvia should keep up with their traditions. He always promised to be by her side, even if she couldn't see him. But as Christmas Eve arrived, the house felt terribly empty. Trying to honor Fred's wish, Sylvia waited until evening, pulled out her small, artificial, pre-decorated Christmas tree, and placed it on the table next to her rocking chair. She heated up a can of soup, made some toast, and sat down. She looked at the framed picture of Fred placed at the empty seat next to her. Tears welled up in her eyes as she took the very first taste of soup and whispered, "Merry Christmas, Fred." Sylvia went to bed that night feeling a deep ache in her chest. It seemed the magic of Christmas had left her. On Christmas Day, Sylvia woke up and instinctively patted the empty space on the bed where Fred had slept for so many years. "Merry Christmas, honey," she said softly. She put on her bathrobe and slippers and shuffled into the kitchen to make herself some coffee. But as she passed the living room, she stopped. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw something unexpected. There, in the place of her small artificial tree, stood a magnificent live Christmas tree. It reached all the way to the ceiling, smelling of fresh pine and glistening with light. And beneath it, the floor was covered with presents. Trembling, she sat down. One by one, she began to open the boxes. But these weren't ordinary gifts. Inside them were notes, hundreds of them. They were records of every act of love and kindness she had ever performed. One note read, "Our honeymoon to Aruba," with all the specific memories that made her laugh until she cried. Another said, "Making a difference for 30 years as a school teacher." Another read, "Thanking the butcher at the supermarket and always complimenting the checkout girl on her smile or her outfit or jewelry." The boxes went on and on. With each note and each memory, the heavy weight on Sylvia's chest began to lift. There were sweet memories of her children being born, funny moments that made her giggle, and quiet moments of service that she thought everyone had forgotten. She realized that these acts of kindness were the true ornaments of her life. Finally, she reached the last box. Inside was a simple pair of glasses. Reading glasses, she thought. But when she put them on, the room changed. The air began to shimmer. The light grew brighter and brighter, warm and golden. And as the room settled, her jaw dropped in amazement. She wasn't alone. The glasses let her see beyond the veil. The room was filled with her loved ones. Fred was standing right there looking at her adoringly, just as he always had. Friends who had crossed were smiling and raising a glass to Sylvia. Even the pets she had lost over the years were there, curled up by the fireplace or wagging their tails, happy to see her. Everyone looked healthy. Everyone looked happy. These were magic glasses. They allowed Sylvia to see what her human eyes couldn't, that she was surrounded by love, that she was supported, and that she was never, ever alone. So, what's the meaning? Well, my friends, that Christmas miracle transformed Sylvia's life. When she took the glasses off, of course, the room looked normal again. but she was different. And she realized the real gift of life isn't what we get, but what we give. It is the kindness, the forgiveness, and the love we share, whether it be with the butcher, the checkout lady, or our family and friends, or even with a complete stranger. And Sylvia realized the greatest truth of all: the veil between us and our loved ones is thinner than a pair of reading glasses. We are never alone, and we are loved beyond measure. I hope you enjoyed that. That's not just a parable. I say that's the truth. They're all around us. So we're going to go into our healing segment now, and it's an opportunity for us to just offer those loving prayers and healing for those in the world that need it. We do know that there are lots of people, animals, there's so many places of unrest. We don't need to know how healing works. We just need to have that tender, genuine prayer in our heart. We have a non-traditional Christmas song. It's from Brian Adams and Friends called California Christmas. But while this song's playing, you can watch the lovely video, or you can close your eyes and just sit in wonder and gratitude. There's no right way or wrong way, just your way. Okay? And after the song ends, Tim will start us off for our address.
Thanks, Sandra. What I was thinking, what says Christmas more than a bunch of Canadian artists singing about California? I don't, I don't know. Yeah, I saw some questions there. So that was absolutely Brian Adams. No Beach Boys. It sounds a lot like Beach Boys, but Canadian artists. That was Great Big Sea, and Bare Naked Ladies, and a couple of other artists. That's probably the first time on the gathering the Bare Naked Ladies expression has even been said, and maybe the last for that. But really nice new music. I love that song. It's very upbeat and definitely gets you into that season. Um, and I wanted to mention too, we mentioned like very personally in this group that this is the 300th show. Um, in a broader group and a chunk of the world, for Christianity, it is Christmas. There's also Hanukkah going on. There's all sorts of events going on, but it's also, though, in North America, Northern Hemisphere, I should say, it is the winter solstice. And if you're down under or in any other country that's south of the equator, it's your summer solstice. So in winter solstice, I look so forward to that because it means that this, yes, will be the darkest day of the year, even though today it's beautifully sunny, or it was, it's clouding over. Um, I'm one who takes special note of daylight. I'm not sure if you're like that too. Sunlight plays a big part, and it even can affect the moods, and like daily, I mean, but also there's a seasonal affective disorder that some people go through as well. And I think when you're not exposed to as much sunlight, that, that does have its effect. So it is so good to hear that starting from this day onward, that we're gaining more light. And sorry for those south of the equator, you can celebrate that this is the longest day, and you've got the most sunlight going on in the world happening today. But that's also going on today. So there's a lot happening. Good energy, absolutely good energy. Um, I thought I'd spend just a couple of minutes talking about some Christmas memories. As Sandra mentioned, this time of year brings a lot of festivity. It's hard for some other people too. They've suffered loss during the year. I can relate to that as well. Um, and for some, even memories growing up at Christmas can be a little difficult, a little rough. Um, what I what I underwent, I'll say a couple of weeks ago, was, and it was in a flash. It was unusual. It was casting memories back to growing up and what Christmas was like, and and in that little moment, I was missing people about what was going on. Actually, it wasn't a little moment. It was more like half an hour, but it just descended out of nowhere. I think after the lights had been on and, looking around the house and seeing the decorations, I started to cast my mind back. I could actually sit down and relax a little bit. And and there was that melancholy feeling of wishing that those who now are on the other side were still here and we're enjoying this time. And I realize that's coming. from me because that's me missing them. They are on the other side and they're just waiting for the time that we all reunite for sure. But that, you have a great memory and then you have that little bit of I don't know what you would call it, like a twang of kind of bittersweet. Like I wish I could um, bring them back again and have those. So past that, I reflected on that a week after that, and I thought, you know what? Those memories are ones actually I want to dive back into because I I am missing those people, but what better way to kind of experience it again than to almost relive those, to go back and remember the good times. And when I think of the good times and the people I miss, family, um, it's always around food. Food comes up, it seems. And that Christmas dinner, if you're like our family, Christmas dinner was kind of like the apex of the whole day. For good or for bad. I think if you're preparing it, it's kind of like the headache that's getting closer and closer and closer. But then it's over and it's done and everything went well. And even if something didn't go a little perfectly, it's still there was so much fantastic things. I thought I'd kind of recount just some of the Christmas memories, hoping that you can relate to at least some of those. Um, and as I picture it, even now, I can see us sitting around the big table. And actually, there's two tables, and you probably know about that. There's the table for the family, and it seems like the older ones were there, and they seem so old, didn't they? They just they just seemed like they were around forever. They were around before you were born, and they were around for many, many years, and they seemed old. And at that time, old was probably 50. But as you start getting older yourself, you realize, yeah, that's not quite as old as you originally thought. But the rest of us were over on the small table, the kids' table, and maybe you had that too growing up. And the kids' table was kind of fun because at least you were kind of around with everyone else your age. I was the youngest, so I would be around. Well, his cousins would be about the same age, but immediate family, not so much because they're still older than I was. But there you are at the card table. That's what we had. The foldable card table was for the kids, and it was set just a little bit off to the side. The big table got the nice little cover on it. The dining room table cover that has all the Christmas decorations on it. The kids' table didn't. It kind of got the smaller version of whatever was there. But that's still, you don't really care. There's Christmas crackers sitting around the table, and you can hardly wait till the end where you'll be pulling the crackers. That may not be something that everyone has celebrated. A lot of our family traditions come from the UK. There's a background in there, so some of that may sound familiar. The whole day, to me, smelled like turkey because you put that turkey in the oven first thing in the morning, especially if it was going in frozen, and the whole just I love turkey. And and I know some people have ham, some people don't like turkey, but I absolutely love turkey. It would, when it was ready, we're all called to sit around the table. And the good old Southwell tradition is it takes like 3 calls before anyone starts moving. It's dinner and we all hear it go, okay, thanks. And then nobody moves. And it takes 3 calls. And then there's a big kerfuffle who's going to sit where, unless you're at the kids' table. You know what that's like. The turkey would be on there. I love the um, turkey leg, but if you're at the little table, you got to wait your turn. And usually it makes it around there. Not every single year would it. Anyway, I'm kind of building to a specific memory that happened when I was a little bit older, still at kids' table. How could you be an older teenager and still at the kids' table? It happens though, doesn't it? And and dad, of course, uh, good old dad would be carving the turkey. And depending upon which side of the family was there, we'd have, grandma and grandpa or grandma. Uh, and one of my grandmas was quite religious. So dad, of course, in carving the turkey would be offering people, would you like to have a leg? Or when he leaned to his left towards grandma, he realized, or would you like a turkey chest? He could not bring himself to offer turkey leg or turkey breast to my grandma. And there was kind of like dead air. The rest of us caught it, and then we just all burst out laughing. We were not laughing at, we were laughing with. It was part of the ceremony, the celebration, and I'll tell you, alcohol free even. So that enjoyment there was just pure fun. Of course, time goes on. People leave the table. and they aren't there the next year, perhaps. And that it seems like the table gets smaller, but then your own family kind of grows and changes and things evolve. And there's still chances to get together. And I know going through COVID was pretty tough for a lot of people as well. And you get to that time of year where, um, or it might be time of year, time of life as well, where you might find that you yourself are on your own. Now, some people like that. My mom says, I love my independence. And it's kind of like, she will tell you, though, to leave her alone if she wants that independence. But still, you kind of want to keep an eye out for those, the parents and other members of the family or even friends that you know what it's like sometimes when you're experiencing an event where you wish there was someone there to experience it with you, but it is you. You're seeing it through. You'll enjoy it. You can tell them about it later. Or there are times even where you wish you could get a little propping up because it's not been all that wonderful for you at a particular time. So we all know what that's like. We've gone through that. And I would say the vast majority of us have been there for others when we've noticed that going on as well. So just as I kind of wrap up my part here, I just kind of like to remind us all that we may go through that sort of down point in our own time there, and really draws on our inner strength. And that's where it comes from for us individually to kind of raise ourselves out of there. If you need support, then ask. There's no reason why not to ask friends to give a call out even. You don't even need to ask for help. You can just give a call. If you got that feeling inside where you're feeling, I'm not feeling the best, make a call. Anyone that you love to talk to, make the call. And the flip side of that too, during this time, during especially even Christmas Day or leading up to Christmas, if you know there's someone who's on their own or who hasn't really been talking much to a bunch of other people, it it doesn't cost you anything to give them a call out to them. Just see how they're doing. You might end up inviting them to something. They might end up inviting you to something. It could be fantastic. You never know what comes out of those instances. But if you get that little flash, that little kind of coincidental image in your mind, that's often, I feel, the spirit side kind of giving you a little nudge to say, give them a call, give them a little notice. And if you need something like that, call out to someone, whether it's a relative or a friend, someone you haven't talked to for a while. This is a time of year to do that too. And give yourself, be easy on yourself this time of year. It's lots of angst, it seems, lots of energy required, and we get tired really well. And what I like to do is I like to imagine a little gift. There's a time in which I would have to do a lot of marking. And at the end of the marking, I'd say, okay, when I'm done, I'm going to go out and have a coffee. I'm going to give myself a little gift. So I'm saying maybe this Christmas and maybe looking into New Year's, not a New Year's resolution, but actually just think of something you would really like. Doesn't have to cost anything either. It could be something small. Maybe it's going out skiing. There's enough snow around here. You're welcome to come up around Canada and ski. Maybe it's just exploring some new classes. Maybe it's reconnecting with friends. Think of a gift that you would really like to do and just sort of reward yourself in the midst of this season or even at the end of this season. Once you've gone through the hectic kind of 2 weeks and you feel relaxed, yeah, reward yourself. You've earned it. Thanks. And Sandra, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Oh, thanks so much, Tim. I'm just so happy to be with you, not just today, but anytime we're with you. Well, my friends, for my part of the address, first thing I want to do is just a couple of shout outs to those that started this Sunday gathering with me. Our friends, Scott and Darren, Carrie and Phil, and myself came together. I think it was the 29th of March, whatever that Sunday is, in 2020. The world was coming to a close. We had no idea what was going on with the virus. It was a dark time. There was lots of gloom, doom in our thoughts. Nobody knew what to expect. I don't need to tell you, you lived through it. But we came together, not having a clue how this thing called Zoom works, but just thought, based on spiritual services that would go in spiritualist churches, we thought we'd do our own kind of thing here on Zoom. And so, if you watched any of the beginning Sunday gatherings, we all tried to be perfect, right? And then we found out pretty quick that perfection isn't just being ourselves, not trying to do anything right, Just be yourself. So that's a little side note sending your way. But in this time, I know my friends have gone on, they work, they travel, all kinds of things. And so it's been my butt in this seat looking at my camera on my computer for all this time. Now, they've offered if I need a day off, they'd be happy to cover for me. But the truth is, no, the Sunday gathering gives me joy, gives me life. Someone once said, we can either take things in or things can come out of us. Inspiration, that is. We can go looking for it or we can create it. And during the week, one would like to think, right, that I'm always decked out and always cheery. For the most part, I am. That's just kind of how I was born. But there's been some tough times. There's been some sadness and darkness and all those things that we humans share. But no matter what, come Sunday, I'm in this seat, right? So whoever I'm with, Tim supplied most of the songs for today, and we come up with a theme together. And the closer we get to the Sunday, the more I'm thinking, well, what am I going to say? And I create these parables for you. As they're for you, they're also for me. The messages are often what I need to hear myself. They're the reminders that love doesn't die, that our loved ones are still around. And so if you were to see Sandra right after the Sunday gathering, boy, that smile on my face lasts. I go up to my mom's room and I tell her everything that happened, and how many people were on, and what the conversations were, and what happened in the medium demonstration. So it gives me life. Now, I'm single. I've never gotten married, but I say this Sunday gathering is the longest relationship I've ever had. 300 Sundays, a committed relationship. So that's just a little novelty about that. But we are here always to, yes, put a smile on your face, but to inspire and empower. And I think that's something that makes our Sunday gathering a little different, is we want to make sure for the next week ahead, you're left with some tools and some inspiration and you feel that you're part of the community. I always picture planet Earth, this globe with all these lights shooting out all over it. And that's each and every one of us. And so we do our part. I know we can't see you, we see your names, but we know you are here and we're so grateful. Again, whether you've been with us before or this is your first time here or you're watching the replay, you are just as much part of it. Now, I want to change my thought a little bit to Christmas. I grew up Catholic. I went almost every year of my education to Catholic school. We went to Catholic uh, church every single Sunday. And I would like to say that I'm somebody who has had this belief all my life, but when something's forced upon you, not so much. And it's interesting because it doesn't matter what religion you belong to, or even if you call yourself spiritual, but not religious, I 100% believe the light remains the same. You've heard me say this before that there's zillions of different lampshades around the world, but there's only one light. And just recently, I don't know why, but I started studying on a deeper level major world religions, of course, looking into the Bible and who wrote it and when, and 60, 100 years after Jesus died, that's when the Gospels came about. And Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John didn't even write them, they were honoring them. And I wanted to find out a little bit more about Jesus. I wanted to find out about how the Bible was written. And I think what was underneath it all is the message for all of us. You're never too old to learn. And if there's something you're passionate about, go for it, right? We got one life, go explore. And for whatever reason, I have been just searching and learning and detecting. And so for me, I have made it in my mind, whether you're a believer in religion or not, that the core spiritual messages from all those who have been out there sharing the good word, what is the good word really? It's love is the biggest force on this planet. It's forgiveness, it's kindness, it's being of service, and those things tied in with that. And I don't personally believe that any of us are punished when we cross over. I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of people who've had these near-death experiences. And yes, we have a life review. We look to see in our lives the impact we made on both sides of the coin. If we did something to hurt another person, even if we didn't intend it, we have this life review from the other person's perspective. And nobody's making you wrong for it. This is growth for your soul. This is for you to understand how this life impacted you. But then on the flip side, you get to see the difference that you've made. And so I think that's probably why I tied that in with the reading today, because for me, the connection to this time of year, no matter what we celebrate, is a reminder of what we're here for. And it's to love, to be of service, to not be so hard on ourselves, not to be so hard on each other. It's really hard to be a human being. Plus, we all have baggage from however we've grown up and the different experiences that we've had. We can't see life through someone else's perspective. So, if you have an opportunity to send a little forgiveness, whether you talk to a person or not, that's up to you. But in your heart, if you can just find a little bit of forgiveness, I think it helps them, but it also helps us. You would not have ever believed this, but 9 years ago, between 9 years ago and when I was 14 years old, I was a Christmas Scrooge. I was. I hated Christmas, hated it. Christmas song would come on, turn it off. I'd go into a store and they'd be decorated for Christmas. And I got that sick feeling in my belly. And why is that? Well, my parents got divorced when I was around 14 years old. Also, my dad had had cancer and he almost died. Thankfully, he lived, but it was a scary time. And so while Christmas used to be, when I was a little kid, like the most magical time in the world, growing up after 14, not so much. And I really do want to shout out to Carrie and Phil and Darren and Scott because I met them all at one place. It's called Banyan Retreat, hosted by Nick and Stephen. And I was on my adventure to look for good evidence of the afterlife. And it was around Christmas time, just before Christmas time. And there was a Christmas tree there, and we sang Christmas music. But something shifted. I witnessed miracles in the 5 days I was there. I experienced physical mediumship, trance mediumship, evidential mediumship. You can hear about all those on my podcasts. But tied in with Christmas and the word magic, it's like somebody blew pixie dust all over me. And I realize that we are these souls having a human existence. I know it's hard to believe, but down to our tiniest bit of the atoms that bounce around our cells, we're all we are is invisible, vibrating energy. If you look at the wonder of the world and you see the earth, there's just the basic elements, but out of that, we have everything and we have our human emotions and our intellect. And then you experience these synchronicities like Tim mentioned, or coincidences. Or you have these moments that you know something before you should, or the phone's going to ring, you know who it is. There's so much more. I think getting to be a human being, we forget the bigger picture because we're here to learn, we're here to grow, we're here to have these experiences. So I just want to leave you with that thought to bring some magic back. Be open to the world around you that's unseen, it's invisible to your eyes, but it's real to your heart. Sometimes having that stroll through memory lane of those things you did with your loved one, it's not like it brings them back because I believe that they're part of our life. They can continue to learn and explore in the spirit world, of course, but I think they're with us so much, so much. But you'll find, I think, because I do, once I go down memory lane of some of these great vacations or things we did together, suddenly a picture comes in from out of nowhere, or a memory, or a song. And I think that's their gentle way of communicating with us. So whether it be the holiday time or any time, you're not alone. And take Tim's advice to reach out or ask. People need people. We certainly do. Nobody can get along alone in this lifetime, but be open for the magic and be open for the miracles. So I'll conclude my part of the address and say again, thank you for being here and happy 300th. So with that, we're going to move on to our demonstration of mediumship. And Tim is our medium today. If you're here for the first time or you've been with us before, I just want to review how this part works. Tim will be requesting from those in the spirit world to work with him. Now, I don't know how they plan it. I don't. But it does seem that the folks in the spirit world are here for all of us. So whether or not it's your loved one who comes through, I want you to pretend it is. Listen to how close they are. Some of the evidence that might come through that they're still part of our lives. Or maybe it's something in the message that you say, oh, I could use a little bit of that too. I think that the folks in the spirit world help plant those seeds and thought into Tim's mind and my mind. And of course, we're here to share with all of you. And I think their messages during the readings work the same way. So that being said, there will be some members of our, I was going to say audience, our congregation, our gathering today that will get readings from Tim. You will hear Tim give a description about the spirit person who has connected with him. It can be a loved one. It could be a friend. It could be somebody maybe you went to school with or you worked with, or maybe somebody from in the past. We don't know how they work. We don't know the method to the madness, but we want everybody to be listening in. They know who's here on our Sunday gathering, so it may just be for you. If you can recognize all the information that Tim shared as a person you know that no longer walks this earth, okay, that's what they have in common, we want you to press your raise hand button. Now, this is the time, and some of you have jumped right in to find the raise hand button on your device and press it. And if you're on a device you can't see raise hand, you might see three little dots and you press that. There's a raise hand button that goes up. Why is this important? Why? Oh, why? It's because we're going to unmute one of you and or several of you, and we love to hear your voice, and you'll work with our medium today. Now, it could happen that there's more than one person that can take all the information. So if that's the case, Tim will continue to work and give some more evidence. And if you say, "Oh, I can't take that part," then just do us the favor and lower your hand. And you'll notice that the raise hand goes to lower hand. So if everybody would press their lower hand button, I would appreciate it. Okay. So if you are the person with your hand raised, the last person with your hand raised, I press a button on my computer. It'll send a little pop-up to your device and an unmute button will appear. Again, you're off camera, but we do like to hear your voice. However, whether you're here on the Sunday gathering or forevermore, if you have a medium reading, let the medium do the work. Our job as sitters is only to say yes, no, or I don't know to the information. A good medium reading, especially a demonstration like this, will impact the hearts of all of us, not just the person who's receiving the information. All right, so we want the medium to do the work. All we're going to say is yes, no, and I don't know. And please don't feel bad if something doesn't fit. Tim's been through our classes with Carrie and Phil. No simply means new opportunity. So just be honest, okay? So yes, no, or I don't know. And that's it. And everybody else who doesn't get a reading, pull that reading towards you like there's some gold in it just for you. That's what I do each and every time. And there's always something that I say, oh, I could use some of that myself. So that's how the demonstration goes. We like to play a feel-good piece of music before we do. And Tim has picked a great pentatonic song for us today. And then after the song, we will have the demonstration. But while the song's playing, it's always fun just to talk to our loved ones, see them in the room around you. Of course, they're all healthy and smiling and happy, and maybe they're dressed in fun outfits. Who knows? Okay, let me play the song, and then we'll be right back with Tim. Great song, Tim. Thanks for bringing that along.
Yeah, I have to admit of that's my favorite new Christmas song, new this year. Yeah, absolutely. And I love music, the harmonies, it's just the feeling and all of that's there. Sorry, Cher and Brian Adams, but that's the one that gets my number one vote for this year. This year for sure. But and thank you, Sandra, and for that explanation as well as we go into the mediumship part of today. And absolutely, all that the recipient, all you need to say is yes or no or I don't know, and that's absolutely it. And then we'll be able to bring through the loved ones from the other side. And it's unusual this I have to say this year, just that feeling coming from the other side coming in, it's like they're pounding on the door. So I know a lot of people out there are calling on their loved ones, and memories absolutely do it. We live through our, sorry, I'm just kind of going into a little tangent here, inspired to do so. We have good memories. We can remember them. They're a little foggy, but um, what I've gotten from the other side is they live through those memories with us as we go through them, and that's come through time and time again. So yes, absolutely. If you can think of those wonderful thoughts, those people that you want to make contact with, they will be there, regardless of whether it's through a medium or whether they are there, right there beside you. Okay, so as I start to move my consciousness more towards the other side there, um, yeah, I am feeling the presence of mum, and I know mum was also a grandma, but I know that the person I will be talking to, my daughter, will be this will be mum to you, and I also want to bring some memories of being in the corner in the rocking chair while you, my daughter, were making dinner. You were doing the final touches. It's something mum used to do, but we're talking mum's later years. I do feel mum's put on a bit of weight, and I do feel that my legs can be quite bothersome, swollen as well as aching. It hampers my walking, although I don't need a device. Um, I also have to comment on just her laugh, her jovial. It just she just loved being in the presence of my daughter in the kitchen, everyone in the other room. This is Christmas time, this is Thanksgiving time, this is all those family get-togethers. Um, I'm also gonna, Mom also wants to, Mom also wants to mention how my daughter would alter my clothing for me in the later, I feel it's later years, but also later months. So that's a key piece of information, that last bit. And if there's anyone out there that could take that information.
Thank you very much, Tim. All right, friends, if you can understand the information, press your raise hand button for us. No hands up just yet, Tim.
That's okay. I watch frequently, and I know that happens a fair bit. Okay, so I'm going to revisit. So I'm talking about mum in spirit, and I do know mum had difficulty with aching legs, and I do feel it might have been yeah, it's sort of swollen legs as well. And I also know that my daughter did alter clothes. I'm just kind of repeating those key points that I'd mentioned before. Um, okay, and
We have Santu with her hand raised. Hello, Santu.
Hi. I can take most of that, except for the bit about altering clothes.
okay.
I know
Uh,
she had to get all new clothes.
Okay, don't feed me anymore,
Okay.
Santu. I know Santu a little bit, but I've never brought your mom through. Um, okay, so Santu, if I could work with you for a bit, we'll see
Hmm.
about doing that. So we've got the two parts there, and you can understand her legs, the
Hmm.
difficulty walking,
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
being painful. Okay,
Hmm.
and also the key part for me even is the first thing that came through was how she would love sitting watching yourself, preparing meals, getting things all set, but just love being there. That's a
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. And with her, and I'll come back to the clothing in a bit because I feel that has to do closer to passing and the
Yes.
need to wear different clothes
Yes.
as a
Yes.
result of that. Okay. Um, but before that too, her laugh when she was, I feel very much that I'm going to say in the last quarter. of her life, I feel she's giving me when I was still mobile and comfortable and had family around. Because I also feel there's family all over. But now when I had more family around me, there feels like mom could almost relax. She could be more herself. She could enjoy the family.
Yeah.
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 And that laugh, it's a chuckle, but it's a full body laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
And it's one in which, yes, you could hear it in the other room, but that wasn't her intent. It just poured out of her
Yeah.
like nature. I also feel very much too that uh she's a spontaneous hugger. Can you
Mhm. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
okay. And because I can actually with her, I can feel the standing up and just it's a deserved hug. This is from her, but it's very powerful for a lady who isn't necessarily that big or strong. It is
Hmm.
quite a good vice grip in there. And but there's so much warmth and I can feel almost like there as if one would pick up the energy from her, just the goodwill, the absolute love from her.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm also going to go to later times with mum because I do feel that we're talking about a golden time there with the laughter and for her the best part of her years. And I feel too that she was able to express if not stories about how she felt that she wouldn't have said before.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
I'll go a little bit more into that. I was a bit
Okay.
general. So
Mm.
she could express more about what parts of her past she's able to kind of let go, how she's grown beyond material needs and material things,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
becoming more of a spiritual talker, not religiously so much as it
Mm.
is talking just about what it's like to be alive and to be good to each other and to be human.
Mm. Yeah.
And I feel that that kind of is a golden time around that same time in which that laughter just pours out of her. And and I want to say that that does shift and that shifts. And I feel we've got like 2 months. In her last 2 months, um, she becomes quiet. So she's not able to express as much.
Yeah.
And I feel there is, um, she wants me to bring this forward. Normally a little reluctant, but I do what they say. And
Yeah.
that's the feel the pain. There was pain that she had to endure in those last times.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so rather than though go big on the pain, she just kind of shut down being very verbal.
Right.
Um,
Right.
that was from mom. I feel very much that's how she handled it. She didn't want to be a burden to anyone, and that
Yeah.
became even more so as she got older. In fact, I
Yeah.
feel she would have even said that I'm not a burden. I don't want to be a burden to anyone. So she wouldn't reveal how deep those last few days were for her,
Yes.
um, how wearing for her. Um, she wants to share that with you because I feel as part of the message, Mom really wants you to know that okay. She's aware that you could tell, even though she was trying to hide it,
Yeah.
that it was an unspoken thing almost about how she was um, in that survival mode, going to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and just it's thank you, thank you, thank you from her about that. That actually helped. That was her way of dealing with it, not involving anyone. Um, and then the thank you. I don't know if she did this while she was alive, but there's the kissing of her hand. That's a gesture I'm not familiar doing, but there's that in her thank yous as well. And she also is relaying, you know, but she wants to confirm that any kind of pain is absolutely gone. There's never that at the crossing.
Yeah.
That and she's making me aware that you know that, you feel that. And in fact, she's letting me know that you were constantly working intuition to how she was feeling. at those moments. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay. From her, she's saying she could feel that. And she said thank you because that allowed the crossing to be even easier. She was able to shed, this is coming directly from her, she was able to shed that pain in an instant and now has basically no recollection of any pain.
Good.
She wants you to know that because from her, you still hang on to some of the doubt of that, even though um, part of you knows that, part of you still wonders. And she wants to put that at ease with you. She says, thank you for organizing things as well. Um, You've, okay, for a mom, you've had to speak up quite a bit. And I feel like you had to speak up there. And I think I might be aware of that, that you had to speak up around that at that time, but also that afterwards you've stayed up on the level of being a little bit more forward than typical of you.
Yes. Yes.
And so she wants you to know she's aware of that. She sees that. She knows you feel her around, and
Yep.
she's yeah, just again, she's going back to the thank you, thank you, thank you, as she gives the kisses for you. So from her, very much love, 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 love. And thanks,
Thank you.
son, too. And I thank
Yeah.
you, Mom.
Thank you very much, Tim. Sandra.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. I feel a gentleman coming in. I feel this is husband, and I'm drawn to, actually, I am drawn to Canada, and I feel this is a husband who's passed, and husband and wife are from Canada, and it would be very natural for them to experience snow, and that's because there's just a bunch that went past my window. That's highlighted for me. I want to say that in my younger years, I was very active. I was very not sporty, but physically active, athletic type. I also feel that. Especially as a younger gentleman, I could be quite the charmer. And I know the wedding was like a dream sort of wedding, and a lot of love involved in that time too. And I just feel he wants to bring that forward that the about himself. And I know things do change down the road. He's going to talk about that later, I feel. Um, okay. I'm getting the name Candace, which is kind of unusual. So if there is somebody out there who can take a husband in spirit, I have a Canadian connection, might be northern the US, but the name Candace is coming forward.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Okay.
Who can understand this information? Press your raise hand button. No hands up.
Okay. Um, Now, in one way, Candace is just so that our recipient is aware of the name Candace, is how I'm feeling. And that's the part I'm willing to drop most of all, because that's sort of the part that's not so much about him. So I want to go back to him, husband, uh, romantic wedding. He was quite, again, um, the athletic type. And I do feel that we're talking about husband and wife who lived in either Canada or northern US, wherever there would be lots of snow.
All right, Teresa has her hand raised. Teresa, if you can press that unmute button. Hi, Teresa.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Teresa. If I
Hi.
leave out the name Candace, you can understand the other information?
Yes,
Okay.
everything.
Okay, great. And I feel the one thing I didn't recap is that he was such a charmer back then. You would understand that?
Yes.
Yeah. Um, but I also feel that dream wedding, he only had eyes for you.
Yes.
Yeah. And I feel that although realistically this might not have been possible, he would have spared no expense to make you happy, especially around that time.
Yes.
And I feel that. Okay, I'm feeling that I'm not flush with money, but I did give you some really good gifts that were just full of love and very surprising.
Yes.
And I feel that there's jewelry involved there, and I feel that not that he went overboard, but boy, did he go big on jewelry. Feel free.
Yes.
Okay. Um,
Yes.
and I feel there's some specific commemorative reason behind the jewelry. And I'm not sure whether it's a necklace or a bracelet, but I am seeing it does kind of look like diamonds. I'm not a jewelry person, but
Mm,
not sure if you can take that set of diamond.
mm, yes. Um,
That's a tentative yes. So I'm just going to stay there for a
well,
little bit.
okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and see. But if it's not all diamond, I feel it's a definitely a bling. There's more crystal than I would say there is metal. Do you understand what I mean?
Not without telling
Okay,
you
yeah,
more.
yeah. Don't go into
Okay.
detail. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, he's also alerting me to actually he's kind of focused and shifted a little bit more to a ring and the wedding ring.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you still put that ring on.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, yeah, the moment, yeah, he feels it's almost like yeah, he had a good sense of humor, very clever gentleman too, correct? Uh,
Yes.
I
Yes.
I feel very much that it's almost like I'm thinking Green Lantern. I'm going with what comes through, as if when you really want to connect with him, on goes the ring. And just like Green Lantern, it's his call to really to step forward and to make himself felt. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Basically using the ring to really draw him nearby. And of course, he's emphasizing he is always there, but he definitely understands the times in which you really need that. I feel from him that there's been times in working with your children that you wish he was right there.
Yes.
And you'd understand that for a son in particular. Do you understand that?
No.
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 Okay.
Like.
Okay,
Sorry.
yeah.
I'm
So
trying not
so
to
then
tell
if
you
it's yeah,
anything.
no, that's okay. Sometimes it slips. But there is a younger gentleman in which there's been need for um hmm, um you felt the need for support and
Yes.
and having
Yes.
your husband there he would have been the person to give that advice, to give that support, to talk it over with. Because
Yes.
I feel like um just wondering how to say this. If we go back to the wedding times, I do want to say that one of the best parts of our relationship from him was our communication. We would spend
Yes.
hours talking. Do you
Yes.
understand that? And he's even even alluded to the wedding night that we just spent so much time enamored by each other in conversation, even.
Um, it was a long night.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We won't go into details, but he does want to talk about that communication was sort of the foundation from him. That's what he felt was the glue,
Yes. Yes.
and it was expressing, and he feels very much. And this is around the wedding time again as well. Um, when he was younger, he was much more open to that communication, to what's going on in his mind, explaining why he thinks the way he thinks.
Yes.
Um, because he's also giving me the sense that if we go ahead in time, that he was less of that communicative about how he explaining himself, basically giving an understanding of where he was coming from.
He was less,
Less.
le like less. Than I'm
No,
sorry.
less than he used to be. So in
Oh, yes.
yeah, so that there was it was just as time goes on, as relationships go on, it feels as if he was just a little less and less and less. Um, not that there was a big negative issue, but it's just that he kept more to himself. He was less that communicative.
Yes.
Um, Communication is really important to him. He keeps on coming back to that. And I know there's a bit of an apology there because there's a bit of a from him. I do get the sense that he wishes he was as attentive all the way through as he was at the wedding, around the time of the wedding.
Hmm.
Um,
Yes, I'm going to say yes to that.
Yeah, and again, he's bringing me back to the wedding again, in that that was such a key moment that everything was going around, revolving around. It was such a major event, but really, in weddings, this is the feeling. In weddings, it can be about who's invited, who's not invited, which aunt, which uncle, grandmother, all those things, all those people, all that kind of like additional baggage. It wasn't. From his perspective, it was you and he. That was it, you and him.
Absolutely. Yes.
And I also from him he's focused so much on that. There's a great deal of love that's in there, and he was um the from him the one person who really could understand where he was coming from, and that's why he could open up to you, was because of that. You, he's saying there's a lot of differences between you, but that didn't matter because you could understand him.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah, and it's also about his background, where he came from, what he went through to find you, is his sense that he actually found you, found the right one. Um, and just the long night of conversations, he's really bringing back all those memories. And and I feel at this time of year he just wants to make himself known to you again and bring forward the absolute perfect wedding. He couldn't have asked for anything different at all.
Mm. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Teresa, and his
Thank
love,
you.
of course. Yeah. Okay. Um, just seeing who's wanting to step forward next. Okay. Not sure of relationship quite on this person, but I know this is a gentleman who um would have in his job career would have had it's like a white cap. He would have had a white cap. May not be related to his job. Um, yeah, okay. I know we're going back quite a bit. So with this gentleman, I feel that a lot of the knowledge of this gentleman is through pictures because we're going back to an older gentleman, older, and in the 50s, he was older. I do feel this may be um, someone who is part of the family, like Grandpa, but not specifically blood-related Grandpa. Um, I do get the sense of how much he cared for the family. I want to get more there. Let's see. An aunt. Sorry, just piecing these pieces. It's coming very piecemeal here for this gentleman. I know he was very business oriented. I know he would do a smile, but in that smile was still the calculating mind. So I know he was a very deep thinker, um, very dedicated to his career. I feel like I want to go to the New England states. Right, and go back to that relationship. So this is an acquaintance. It is not a member of the family, but he was such a nice guy for the family. Um, hmm. going to go for one more piece and see what we get here. Okay. This one's a little difficult. I want to say that he's also one that left the family. He chose to leave. And we are going back, I believe, to the 50s. If not 50s, it's 60s. And yeah, an older gentleman, white cap, balding gentleman as well. We're going back to the 50s, and I feel that he was a major help to the family, but then left the family. That's an odd sort of set of evidence there. Let's see where we go with that. If there's anyone there that's who can take that information.
Right. Who can take this information? Might need to think back. But raise your hand if you can, or if you think you can. No hands up just yet.
No hands up yet. Okay. I feel there's a bit of confusion with this gentleman, so I feel that that's important. Right. Okay. Okay. So I okay, got that. Sorry, he's okay. So I do know now that this is a gentleman. He is in the family. I do feel that he did go through dementia, Alzheimer's, and I do feel that this would have begun in his 50s. And um, I want to say too that in a sense he was there physically, but mentally he wasn't there for a number of years. He was aware of the changes happening, but then he did fade away. This is in his 50s, not the 50s.
Thank you very much. All right, everyone. New set of evidence here. If you can understand this gentleman, or think you can, press your raise hand button.
He's got a couple more things. Since I see
Okay.
no hands, I'm starting to feel father with him, but also that there would be an aunt in spirit as well. So now that we're looking at a collective, father with dementia, Alzheimer's, in his 50s when that starts developing, he was aware of changes, and you also would have an aunt in spirit.
No hands up.
Okay, willing to drop the relationship still, but I know now that the gentleman is sorting things through, and I do know that that was the memory issues, dementia, Alzheimer's related.
All right, so it may not be father.
May not be father, and he develops that in his 50s.
Now, Greg, you just sent a little message that would be your uncle. Do you want to press your raise hand button, Gail? And we can talk to you. All right, let's bring Gail in.
Okay.
Put a note in the chat box for me.
Hello, Gail.
Hi,
Hello.
Gail.
Hi.
Hi. So I just want to check the key things which we have here, and that's gentleman in spirit. I took away relationship, but he would have begun his journey in Alzheimer's dementia around the 50s.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and he is family member.
Yes, so that is
Okay.
my you had mentioned father and then maybe not necessarily, but it was my father's brother, so my uncle.
Okay, that would make sense. Okay, but no, now yeses and nos though, promise.
Got it.
Okay, but that's okay. And aunt, his wife is in spirit.
So he was never married.
Okay,
So
okay. I may have jumped the gun there. You have an aunt also in spirit.
yes,
Okay,
correct.
that's what that originally was. So I should stick to that. The other piece I want to have about him, though, it feels very much this would have been the experience that he was present mentally as well as physically, And then it feels as if it would appear as if he checked out.
Yes.
Okay, that's what he was trying to get across there, and I couldn't quite get that. Okay, um, okay, because I do feel, and there's as I'm working with him a bit more, I feel that his mind was one that was quite creative,
Yes.
and that actually it feels as if there's a big shift because he would have been quite intelligent, quite quick at, and quick at a couple of things, intelligent first of all,
Very much so.
and quick-witted.
Hmm.
And it feels as if that wit could really dwell upon or pick from things from the past, people's personality. He was able to kind of work that into the joke.
Yes.
Um, Now I feel that he was kind. He wasn't sarcastic to a big degree or vicious, uh,
Correct.
but they were more like little pokes, little jabs.
Hmm. Yeah, he was very kind.
Okay, and it feels as if there is that relationship with dad that was quite close. With your
Yes.
dad, yeah. So with his brother, and that's okay. That's where that's coming in as well. Okay. Um, from your uncle, I feel as if dad did go through quite. Dad's still with us.
Reese, no, no, no.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. So dad
mhm.
was around during your uncle's passing,
Yes, he was.
and dad took that very hard.
Yes,
From uncle, I'm getting that sense that actually that was quite devastating. Um,
for sure.
yeah. Um, and with the image I have here, it feels as if it was like losing your right arm. This was, I feel like the two of them. Um, I did this. That's usually butting
Mhm.
heads. That's the opposite of what was going on here. It's like, they could put their heads together and solve the problems of the world.
Yes.
Um, and I'm not sure if Dad's stepping forward or not, but I also feel Dad is still very intelligent as well.
Yes.
The sense of humor, though, compatible with his brother, was different.
Yes, that's accurate.
I feel with Dad, and Dad must be stepping forward now. I feel with Dad's humor, it was more kind of story-based, if you'd understand that, more like jokes.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I do understand
Yeah, and instead you're and they're kind of actually going at it now in that there was a little bit of almost one-upmanship. One could be funnier, not to be better than the other, but funnier. It kind of stacked
that.
layered with each other. They're still doing that on the other side. That's what I'm hearing.
Okay.
Um, it feels with your uncle though that he was much more of the moment, clever and funny
Yes.
versus long stories and things. I
Hmm.
feel like your uncle wouldn't let your dad get away with things though. He would yeah nab him and um this would go back. You would have had to hear stories. This would go back uh since they were young boys. They were just frickin' frack growing
Mm.
up together. Um Now with dad's coming forward as well. I feel dad wore a bit dad would wear his heart on his sleeve a bit.
Yes.
And I feel that dad could get emotional during TV or movies.
Yes.
Yes. And I feel that he's giving memories of the family sitting around watching some good old movies and he would be in there emotionally.
Hmm.
A very strong man, manly type guy, but I feel still
Hmm.
when the movie warranted it, and it's even commercials, he's kind of saying even those heartfelt commercials, he'd be a
Right.
bit of a sucker for them, and I am too, so I can associate. Um, yeah, and it never took away from his strength and who he was. Um,
Yes.
from dad, I'm feeling that I'm one that could be depended on. I'm one that was reliable.
Yes.
Um, and he's giving me a sense of no matter what age of time we're talking about, there's different problems learning to tie shoes as there are having your own family. Um, he was approachable still.
Yes.
And I feel he would volunteer. He would volunteer to come over, fix parts of the house, like help with the plumbing or electrical, or if there's something that wasn't quite working.
He would try.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he would be there. That's for sure. Whether he actually got there, got the situation solved or not. But he's the one to reach out and he would be over there, helping out. Um, it's also giving me the sense of drywall, helping with drywall. I don't know if he helped you build a little
Um,
bit.
Not that I am aware of for the drywall.
Okay.
I don't know for sure.
But he's there. He's not an expert at it, but boy, will he try.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
and Uncle, I want to go back to Uncle just before we go, because Uncle definitely wants to say goodbye. That was from the start. It was he didn't get that chance. What it feels like is,
No, he didn't.
yeah, he was in a car driving off, and he didn't even get to say "see you later." He was one person one day and another person the next time you saw him. And he
Yes.
absolutely wants to take this opportunity to say um, hello, and I'm still here, and goodbye from the physical, but he's still here and just as clever and working now. A lot of that fog is lifted now for
Oh,
memory and confusion, and he's in a much happier state. And the two of them, board games, the two of them would have played board games together.
oh, very nice. Thank you
So
for passing that along to me. That's really comforting.
yeah, you're more than welcome, Gail. Thanks for raising your hand, and thank your dad and uncle for coming through.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. And Sandra, how are we doing for
It's
time?
up to you if you want to do one more. This is our Christmas
Um,
spectacular.
let's see, because I know there's a lady that's been around here. And we'll just see in spirit. I'm talking. Um, okay. Okay. This is quite distinct. So I have a lady in spirit. I do feel it like it is grandma. Um, and we're going to food. It always seems that when we're here, we're going to food. And she had a unique glaze, if not for turkey, then for chicken. And I feel it's using, um, it's like apricot marmalade, if not, or it's almost like a jam that's of that orangey kind of color on the chicken. I think it's chicken more so than turkey, but this was kind of her unique recipe. It was really good. She's quite proud of this. So I feel this is grandma who would have prepared that meal, and there was a special glaze that only she did, and it was like marmalade jam type of glaze.
Thank you. Who can understand this information? Raise your hand, please. I love when Tim brings through food.
Mm. Usually there are smells that come along too. That'll happen.
Might have to think back on this one, but who
Yeah.
remembers her glaze for the chicken? No hands up yet.
No hands yet. I'm going to hang on to Grandma for a bit here and say Grandma, and that our person that she wants to connect with is one that has that special recipe then, with the glaze from jam or apricot marmalade or something on top of the it's like that on top of the chicken and or turkey.
No hands up.
And no hands up yet still. Okay. Sticking with Grandma. Grandma does not want to go away because she's showing the putting the she's giving the recipe again. That sometimes happens as well. And I do know this is the case, and I do know it's a unique glaze that's going on this. It's not just regular butter. I know it's my own thing that I do that I learned myself, and it's what the family would always love to have. Um, and it's to make this the recipe's coming. It's to make the skin crispy. I don't cook that much, so when it comes through, I'm learning a fair bit too. Yep.
Who can take this? Sometimes it's after a Sunday gathering and somebody realizes, and I get an
Yeah,
email.
that's right.
No hands up just yet.
Okay, so I am going to stick in the kitchen with Grandma, as perhaps the other will come around with it. But I do feel that Grandma was the one that was preparing the meal for the family. It was a special meal. It didn't pass on to the generation yet. So this was Grandma that was still doing the cooking. And I feel that Grandma had her recipes that she would use to, okay. And she would have all the burners going. There's the potatoes. There's all of that. Um, and I feel it's Grandma, Grandma alone. No one disturbed her. She was the cook. She was the one. And I don't feel the kitchen was very big either.
Stacy has her hand raised. Thank you, Stacy. Oh, and Emily too. We got two for the price of one.
Two for the price of one. Okay.
We're gonna talk to Stacy first, see who she understands, and Emily, if
Right.
you
So,
can unmute
so
yourself.
Stacy, I just want to verify that this is Grandma in the kitchen. She was cooking uh, chicken or turkey. The bird is in the oven. All the burners are going. You don't disturb Grandma when she's making her meal in the smaller kitchen.
Stacy, can you take it all?
Oh, hold on. Sorry. Hold on. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. I understand everything you said except the marmalade. And to be honest, I didn't pay attention because we weren't allowed in the kitchen. So,
Okay. That could be quite valid. Um, okay, but Grandma is quite clever. If now,
We got Emily and Dana both. Emily, can you take all that information?
I can take grandmother, I can take the apricot preserves, but it wasn't on a chicken, it was in cookies, but it was a significant part of it. And I can take not being allowed in the kitchen.
now you'd have to also be able to take the small kitchen.
Yes.
Okay,
All right. We got Dana also. We'll just check with Dana.
right.
Hi, Dana.
Hi. I can take grandma, super cook, small kitchen. Um, she's the only one that did the cooking. But that's kind of where I can't necessarily take the apricot glaze, although she did have her special recipes for things. But
Okay.
I'll sit back for now.
So yeah, what I'm going to say is for Stacy and Dana, if you could keep listening, I do feel I may be with Emily.
okay.
Because so Emily, oh, we're going to go over a fair bit here. So I do know that also Grandma would have been doing the meals, even though there's other ladies in the family who could have stepped in and would have been able to, but no, that was not Grandma's way.
For the most part, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and those apricots, there's a very special thing about those, like preserving them myself, or they had to be a specific brand. Okay,
Yes.
okay, and you know that everything that came down to, well, if she wouldn't let people in her kitchen, but everything had to be precise when it came to recipes and food.
Yeah, she was very particular.
Yeah. And I'm also getting the fact that it's not just how you make it, or wow, even shaping the cookies had to be identical. They all had to look the same. So those
Yeah.
cookies would have always, okay.
Yeah, there was even like a special tool.
Okay. Yeah. And the other part that I'm feeling more so now from Grandma is that there was the combination. So with just a yes or a no, she would have the menu, and she would make sure certain things were on the menu, and they had to go like, I'm trying to think of a good example. Like you would have red wine with beef, except we're not talking alcohol. It's like, if I'm going to serve this, then these are the things that have to go with it. These other things will not go with that. Do you understand that?
I can take that, yes.
Okay. Um, it's not just pickiness about how the cooking was done, but it's what goes together in food. Um, Now, that would you normally make it sound as if someone was such a control person, but I feel take her out of the kitchen, and Grandma was a lot of fun.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I feel Grandma was also great at instigating conversations, so getting the ball rolling.
Yes, she was.
Um, and she's even giving the idea that in those big family get-togethers, she'd be in one room getting the ball rolling, and then zip off to the kitchen, be doing what needed to be stirred, cooked, whatever, turned on, and then be back to make sure things were still going okay. So she was right on top of things.
Yes.
Um, I also know very much that she adored grandchildren. So there was a sense very much from her of her adoration, not just love, but adoration.
Yes. Yeah.
And even though you weren't allowed into the kitchen, I feel as if there would have been some little special snacks, tidbits that she would make sure the grandkids got to have.
Yes.
Um, and not only just some, but she knew what, that's not quite what specific, it was, what specifically each grandchild preferred.
I believe so, if I recall, yes.
It's sort of like candies, and I'm getting this cherries. Like there's glazed cherries, or do you know what I mean? Um,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That those were important, and she made sure that those were present in the cooking. I feel dessert was, and we're going with the food. Good old grandma. Dessert was not a quick fix. Dessert would have involved a lot of preparation, cooking exactly at a certain temperature for a certain length of time. Otherwise, it would fail. Does that make sense to you?
I
I'm
don't remember
thinking
that.
like pancakes, like not pancakes, but cakes in a pan. Um, I don't know what those are called. Things that fall. I don't
Oh,
cook.
you mean soufflés?
Yeah, like souffle, that type of thing. I'm also seeing testing to make sure it's done with a toothpick, having to make sure that that was going on.
Maybe again, we weren't allowed in, so
Right. Okay.
it's hard
So
to.
I'll kind of take that as a no then, but I will say that she was meticulous in the food and the preparation.
Yes.
And I feel too that she felt she knew better than recipes. Isn't that interesting? Um, Not sure if you can take that as a memory so much because I feel as if she would only use memories as a base and then it would be all her and all her creativity.
Yeah, I can take that.
Okay. Um, okay. And she wants to go right over to you. Um, there's a young boy in your family.
Yes.
Okay. She's focusing on the young boy. She connected that with her adoration of you and the amount of, okay, she's also giving me the sense that you didn't need much looking after,
Yes,
which is,
very
yeah,
true.
yeah, that, you're quite good about that. She's relating that from you now, you to a young boy who really doesn't need a lot of looking after, just needs to be touching base now and again to make sure everything's okay. So
Mm.
I'm going to go back a bit. So from grandma, again, you wouldn't have needed her special attention. However, people would need to check in to make sure that you weren't just keeping everything to yourself. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now grandma's relating that for you to this young lad, to just kind of do the same sort of thing. Just make sure everything's good because they seem
Oh,
quite,
oh, I get it. Yes.
yeah, they
Okay.
seem quite independent, but they might keep little things to themselves. Keep an eye out for that is kind of what she's saying. She's not saying there's something to worry about or anything along that line. She says, you know what it's like from her perspective. You knew what it was like growing up that way. So just keep an eye, be that good eye like she was on for you, on him.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay, great. Thanks for putting up your hand. Sorry it took a while to get to, but yeah, grandma absolutely sends her love. Uh, yeah, and hopefully happy memories of the food as well.
Oh, thanks so much, Tim.
You're welcome. Thanks, Emily. Thanks, grandma, too. And thank you, Sandra.
Oh, thank you, Tim. I just want to tell everybody our friend Anna typed in the chat box. She could take all the information about mom, the first one, especially the kisses. So
Oh, yeah.
sometimes friends, they work together and they just give you a little sampling. It's just not those folks here with you. It's all of our loved ones and they have a method who comes through and what they do. We'll see how it all works when we hit the other side, but not too soon, not too soon. But please rest assured that they are with you. They truly, truly are. Okay, a few announcements I have. First of all, find out more about Tim on his website, which is psychicmediumtim.com. Easy to remember. Next week on our Sunday gathering, I will be joined by wonderful mediums Cheryl Turner and Carly Douglas. as we talk about change. And of course, we're going into the new year. So I'm very excited to be with them. We have some new classes that are open with Carrie and Phil, The Gentle Path to Spirit, if you're interested in nurturing and seeing what's there. We all have psychic and mediumistic abilities. Just do we tap into them? And even if you never want to be a medium, it's nice to know how it all works. Of course, lots of classes with Carrie and Phil for continuing mediums, and you can find everything at mymediumship.com. I'll be back with Scott Milligan in January for Trance in the Altered States. Different kind of class. We spend most of the time with our eyes closed and blending with the love from our guides and our loved ones and our soul with healing. It's a lovely, lovely course. Also, next, it'd be the 29th, our friends Kath and Mitch Shirley. You met them last week. They are advanced grief recovery specialists, and they host what's called a free grief cafe. 90 minutes. It's not recorded. It's just an opportunity to be with good people who also believe in the afterlife. They are mediums, as you know, and it's just very comforting, very, very special. Grief is the hardest thing we humans go through. And so it's a little support there. Also, if you don't yet have a copy of my book, you are welcome to have one. You can get the free PDF version. If you've ever gotten any courses through WeDon'tDie.com, it's already there in your personal library. But at the bottom of the page at WeDon'tDie.com, if you enter your name and your email address, it'll be a pop-up with all kinds of good things. My book is in there. Why I recommend it is chapter 10 is about surviving grief. There's other good information in the book, of course, but that's something that really gives understanding of why it hurts so bad, some of the things we can do to lessen the pain and to have our loved ones still be part of our life. So that is all there. Also at WeDon'tDie.com on the main page, you can check out my past podcast episodes. Between the two shows that I have, I'm close to 800 episodes over many years. And so I'm 100% committed to give you the best reasons to believe in the afterlife, can also provide some comfort. You know, we often spend a lot of time alone, and we can listen to this negative mind, or we can put something positive in. So I welcome you to join me on listening to some of those podcast episodes. Also, our new film, Evidence of the Afterlife, Saving Evidential Mediumship, has hit Apple TV. You'll also find a link to that to rent that for a few dollars on my main page at WeDon'tDie.com. It is the story of our tutors, Carrie and Phil, their mediumship. I make a couple of cameo appearances talking about proper evidential mediumship. And there's many of us really out to raise the level of mediumship in the world. And rule number one, don't book a medium unless they offer you that 10-minute guarantee. If there's not good evidence coming in the first 10 minutes, you stop the reading and you don't pay. It's so important. Also, WeDon'tDie.com, you can go to the Sunday Gathering page, register for next week and the next several. We'll see Tim again in January. Also, you can watch past Sunday gatherings. And if you'd like to donate to help keep our Sunday gathering afloat, you can do so there, which leads me to say thank you to our patrons of our Sunday gathering who have made it possible for so many people. We thank you from the bottom of our heart. We really do. All at WeDon'tDie.com. Now, I just have a few last words before I turn it over to Tim for our closing prayer. But we've heard a lot today about Christmas and celebrations and such. The last thing I want to just tell you is imagine you have that pair of glasses and that you can see into the unknown space. We have to trust our feelings, these thoughts and memories that come out of the blue. But our loved ones really want us to know that they're still part of our lives and miracles are possible. They truly are. So you've heard it said before, if you put a smile on your face for 30 seconds, if you're blue, it'll put you in a better mood. The same thing holds true if you act as if your loved ones are around, and they are, that you have a whole different kind of life. Spend some time in gratitude. If you need to put a picture of them in every room, do so. I know there's some friends here that are alone on Christmas, and it may be tough, but you're not alone. And reach out, look for a way to make a difference with another. Okay. So I think that's all I need to say. I'm going to turn it over to Tim for our closing prayer.
Thanks again, Sandra. And again, is it coincidental that you said that? Because I was being inspired to remind us all to cast that feeling back to when we're in the process of a reading, when we're observing a reading, and we feel them so close to us as we hope that perhaps they'll come through. If ladies and gentlemen, you could go back to that feeling now and hold them with you as we say our prayer for today. And we give thanks that we can feel and sense them around us, and we hope for more, and we will eventually see our loved ones on the other side. We know that they are safe and sound. We know that they have the love for us as we have the love for them. And just whenever you wish to think about them, gather them close to your heart. Think of the memories, and that brings them in. They are with you now. And we're so thankful that we can have opportunities like this in which we can experience that physically, emotionally, and consciously. So we give thanks that this is an opportunity to do something like this weekly. And with that, amen.
Thank you so much,
I
Tim.
also
Go
want to
ahead.
say I just want to say happy 300 and happy holidays and happy solstice. And it's fantastic what's happening.
Oh, and happy. Thank you so much, Tim. Thank you to our friends gathering with us and those of you watching the replay, and of course to our loved ones. We're never alone. So we're going to go into our closing song. This is a young 15-year-old boy with autism, and it is, well, I'm not going to even say anything. You just have to watch it and love it. Here's Jack with his dad. What a beautiful voice and a beautiful gift, and how he could multitask like that. Amazing. Well, friends, wishing you a wonderful week. We'll see you next week. Remember, you're never alone, and be kind, especially to the person in the mirror. Lots of love, everyone. Bye. Thanks, Tim.